Hello everyone. This video is about how to create a login form using a jQuery. In the previous video, we had already seen we had created one login form is purely using a PHP, and the validation we have done it using a PHP, and we have diverted it to other pages, but no security has been given. If you need a security, you have to go with a session. I'm not into a security part, so I'm just creating how the simple login form can be done. Now, how does this the same thing we can build it using a jQuery is the most simplest one. So what we prefer, jQuery majorly goes with an Ajax call. Even the Angular also we are going with Ajax call. In the next video, I'll be teaching you about the Angular, but how the same form can be developed using a jQuery. So I had created a one more project that is called as a login form. This is my previous project is a login form. Now we have a login form one. This is for the jQuery project. Okay, so here what I create a index file. So I don't sorry, I create a HTML file. I don't go with a PHP. I name one index. But remember this, in the last video for the PHP, I named the index file itself is a PHP, right? So where I can embed the HTML into a PHP, but rather than that, you don't want to do this, you can directly go with the HTML file and you can do that stuff also. Now, so I'm going to develop the same form what I have been developed the last time. So I just do copy this container, I minimize it, I copy this container out, and I paste in my index.html. Yes, so here we have a container, here we have my form. Okay, so we have an entire form. Now I'm not going to write any PHP, but rather I go with the jQuery. So again, here so I'll be calling the login form. Okay, now I have to bring the bootstrap in, so I can copy the bootstrap from this folder, so I can paste it here. Yeah, so the bootstrap which has been come inside, so I can so in the HTML you have a better feature, you can drag and drop, but in the PHP file you cannot do it, you have to write the entire file name. Okay, now we need a jQuery, so I go my include folder. So here we have my include folder. In that I have a jquery.min.js. So I'm just going to do copy this one out, and I'm going to put it inside my project, right? Otherwise you can add a CDN also. If you're adding a CDN, you must need an internet, so that you just need to remember with. Yeah, so here we have, let me just close everything out. Okay, so we got bootstrap jQuery. So I'm just going to drag and drop the jQuery. Okay, jQuery has been added in my system. Now I'm going to code this one out. So first of all, whenever you're trying to access with a jQuery any form element, so it's always better you give an ID. So that is what I do. So I give an ID as a uname. So you can give a same ID as the same name as a name. That also can be given. So anywhere you can place it, I give it as a pass. Now you see the ID also a pass, name is also a pass, not a problem. Name is also pass, ID is also pass. You can do this one. Now how do I can fetch this one out? So we just can say um, okay. So I'm going to add a jQuery. So how do I can add a jQuery? jQuery, I'm adding it inside the embedded script. So I write dollar. This is a jQuery documentation. So function. Okay. So here I'm going to add the jQuery code. So what is dollar function means? When the window has been ready. So what it need to be happen? Now we need some input to be done. So what I do. A form submit, otherwise I can say I don't see it as a submit button, I just normally say it as a button. Input type is equal to button. Okay, and sorry, button, because I don't need that one, because the form submission can be directly done it by the jQuery. jQuery has a Ajax that can be done. A name you can give it as a submit, and I give it as ID also a submit. You can give any name here. But when you click on if the type is a submit, then it goes to action. Now you don't need a form also, that is also a useless, but let it be since we have been added with. So you get the same output here. Now how do I can write? So I write it something like this. So I'm going to catch the id as a hash submit, right? Dot click when you click on it. So I'm going to write a function, bit of function inside. So when you click on it, I'm going to put the username inside some variable uname is equal to, so I can write dollar hash uname will be the id. Guys, remember this should be id. Whenever you want to access the id, you have to write a hash. If the uname is in the class, then dot uname, right? But it is always preferred to give id. Why? Because you need a single value. So dot val, right? Dot val will fetch your value for it. So now I again take one pass is equal to dollar underscore hash pass dot value. Okay, so I got this one out in the jQuery. If you want to see it, you can put a alert. I just show when you click on a uname, you want to print a uname. Okay, so you can get this one. Let me just run this one out. So we have okay. So I take it as a login form one. Okay, so here we got. I just put some padding here to our body. So I got a style padding top some 4%. Right. So per person, so my login form which comes little down. Okay, so I'm going to add something here. So some name I give, because validation I have not added it. Some 123 I just give. When I click on login, it says Rohan, right? Password is never printed because I have not put it inside alert. If you want, you can put the password also alert, so the two alert will come. Okay, so now that means you have connected the jQuery, right? So you are passing the value Rohan, and you can say 123. So then you can click on Rohan and 123. You get this one out. Yeah, exactly. Now what I can do, so I can do certain validation. You don't need the username to be empty or a password to be empty. So you can do some validation. I just do this one stuff. So if uname double equal to null, that means you are not added anything, or I say uname double equal to null. So there's a two types of it. So null, or I say password double equal to null. This kind of a null. The other null you get majorly in the database. So when you cannot access a value, so there's this kind of a null. So we have a two type of a null. If any one of it is a null, so then you can say alert message, please enter both the field. Okay, so we got this, please enter both the fields. Otherwise it just drags inside. So I just reload it, so I don't write the USN, I write 656. It just say please enter both the field. If I say some value here, it doesn't gives me any alert. Okay, so this is a kind of a validation what I'm doing it for my login form. Okay, here we go. Then else I'm going to check it whether the user is valid or invalid. For that I do use um, Ajax calls. So how do I can use it? So there's a two types of a request. One is a get or a post request. I majorly go with a get request here, dollar dot get. So what I have to get? Okay, so inside a get I have to write one php file where the processing will be taken place. So I create one php, so which used to tell me this. I get a php file, I just say get login. Okay, so I'm going to pass this one up here to a get login. So I write this one get. Otherwise it's always better, rather than writing it inside here like this, you can create one folder called as a get. Inside that get you can put it as a get login. Otherwise directly also you can put. Now I just copy this file name, I put it here. That means the request has to send to this php file, and then the parameter what you have to pass, you have to pass one uname. Okay, so and you store that username. So this colon you have to put and the uname. That means you can give a name to it is a uname, and this uname you are passing it. Okay, similarly, so you can pass a one more as a pass. You can give other name also, pass, right? So you guys might be confused what I'm doing here. What is this uname, that uname? So I give for to avoid your confusion, I give this one as a uname one, this one as a pass one, right? So you can give any name, same name also can be possible. Okay, so if it is successful, then it comes to a function, right? If it is not successful, it never comes to it. It provides you error message. If it is successful, it comes to a function with some data. Okay, and data or a response is left to you. Okay, now so I go with the get login. So in the get login, so I get a uname, $uname is equal to dollar underscore get. I do use get. Why? Because I have written dollar dot get. If I given dollar dot post, then I'm sending a post request. Since I'm sending a get request to a login PHP, so in the login PHP I have to write dollar underscore get of what? Of uname one. What is uname one? Uname one is this one, right? This a username has been stored inside a uname one, and that has been sent as a request. Yeah. Similarly, so I just um, give a pass. There's a pass. Okay, once it has been done, and now I need a SQL connection. Exactly, SQL connection. In the last video, I've shown you how to do a SQL connection. So I had a connection string inside a SQL. You can see this one out. This is the same database I'm using it. So I just what you do, I just copy this one out. Copy it. Otherwise, you can create it. It's not a big issue. You can create a SQL.php and you can write this stuff inside, right? So I just do create it and I bring that one up here. So include sql.php. Okay, here we go. Sql.php. Yeah, had been added with sql.php. Is it some error there? Yeah, perfect. Okay, once I've been added, now I can use I can write one query str. So I write the same query, select star from uh, I go with the login. Login is my table name, so I write where is a username. Username is a database name, remember, so which is a varchar, so I have to put it in a single quote. Uname, write it as a and password is equal to dollar $pass. Yes, and I give active flag. I always go with the active flag for every select query. Why? Because if the active flag is 1, only then I'm going to select this one out. If the active flag is 0, then the row means it's deleted. Okay, so now I'm going to call the SQL. So I read this, yeah, I'm going to execute this one using a dollar result is equal to mysql query. So I write dollar SQL comma dollar str. Okay, so this query will be executed on the query string which is there inside a SQL sql.php. So we got this one out here. So then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take one valid, otherwise valid is equal to false, otherwise valid is equal to 0. I make 0 means it's a false. Now if any rows are there, if mysql num underscore rows of a dollar result is greater than 0, if it is greater than 0, then what I make a dollar valid is equal to 1. Valid means it's authenticated, the user has been authenticated, and that one I'm just going to pass it at the last line. Like you can pass directly a dollar valid, it can be also a possible, it's a valid one. But remember this, if you want to pass some array or a PHP array, then it's better you pass it in the JSON format. So how do you can do is a JSON encode, and then you can pass a valid. Always make a habit of passing your requests is in the JSON format, like because PHP arrays cannot be passed simply like that with the echo command. Yeah, so that is what we have. So get login had been created, and now so it goes to this and using these to one. Okay, now I'm going to take the output. What output this one, this get login will give me? Get login will give me the valid value. Valid value can be either 0 or it can be a 1. Now if it is a 1, that means user is authenticated. Why? Because this select query gives you rows greater than 0. Greater than 0 means it's authenticated. Less than 0 means valid will remain 0. Yeah, so I get what final result. I take it as a result is JSON dot parse, so I can go with the data. So if you are not sending with a JSON, you directly can give result is equal to a data. Since you are encoded in a JSON, you have to decode it here in the in the jQuery. Remember this JSON.encode is a PHP function, and this parse is a JavaScript function. You need to understand this, but the both of it uses a JSON format. That's the beauty. Okay, now I can say if a result double equal to 0. Now I can put a alert directly. In a PHP you cannot add it. With a JavaScript you can directly put. So login successful. Okay, now I can copy this one out. So else I just go with this login unsuccessful, right? Yeah, unsuccessful. Simple as such. I just taken the value from a JSON and I had put it inside the result. Then I compare the value. Okay, JSON value is equal to a result is equal to 1 means login successful, else the login will be unsuccessful. Result will be a 0 means it will be a unsuccessful. So we have a simple form here. So this is a form that have been created. So I know that let me just show you my database value here. Database I had been created in the old form. I had created a database as a login form. In that we have a table as a login. In that username will be a rowan at gmail.com and the password will be a 123. I'm just going to give a login here rowan at gmail.com and the password will be a 123, and it says okay, it has some error. It has some error. JSON.parse. It has a problem with the JSON.parse. Directly give it like this. Let me just not use this json.pass. Result is equal to data. Since we don't have this one out, let me try this. Yeah, this is login unsuccessful. It gives error undefined index pass. Defined index pass. Okay, here we have. Yeah, it should be a pass one. It's not a pass five because we had passed a pass one here and the uname one. Perfect. Okay, so we have Rohan and 123. Let me just give you login successful. If I give something else, then I can say it as a login successful. Or you give a password same and you give something else in the username, you give it as a login unsuccessful. Now that also can be possible. I think the JSON.parse must need to work. Let me just try doing this. Try this one out. Yeah, it works fine, right? So it works fine for you. So you can add the JSON.parse. There was an error. Now it has been rectified. Now remember this. Now you want to retrieve the username from the PHP. That is also can be possible. Now rather than the get login, you don't want the valid or valid should be given. Rather than that, why cannot you give the username that you can provide it? So I just still instead of valid, I take it as a username, right? So I take it as a null. Okay, so I'm going to fetch this row whatever the value there inside a result. So that is what I wanted to tell you. um, okay, so if number of the rows are greater than 0, so I just put this one out. Okay, now what I'm going to do, uh, I'm going to take a dollar array is equal to mysql fetch underscore row fetch underscore assoc of a dollar result. Okay, and this one I'm going to put it inside the username is equal to dollar $arr. So what is the fetch underscore assoc will do, it will fetch the entire row from this result, right? So entire one row from this result and it will put inside a arr. So it's an associate array, so you can put dollar array of a username is a username from the database. Remember, it's a username from this database here. So dollar row will fetch the entire, so fetch underscore assoc will fetch the entire row. In that dollar user dollar array of username will get your rohan@gmail.com, right? And this one, I'm just going to pass it over here. Now I can pass the username as an encode. I don't pass a valid. So if the username is a null, then I can say I change this one. If the result is not equal to null, right, then the login is successful. If the login is successful, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you user. So I say user, uh, what is his name is in the result. So I say plus result. So I concatenated. So I say is valid, right? That particular user is valid, so the username is valid or the login successful. So I just wanted to show you, you can retrieve something from the ajax call also, and that one you can put it inside the result, and then you can say user is valid. So that's a better option what I have. So I go with the login form. So I go with the Rohan, and then I say 123. I say user rohan@gmail.com. This has been came from the PHP as a response is valid. Okay, and if I put something else here, so it gives us as a login unsuccessful. Yes, so this is how you can create a form using a jQuery. So you can watch the other video for using Angular. Thank you.